Hey, this brings you to another Peace at War. It's the name of my album and the name of our New King James Version Study Bible that we're going through here, our little segment. It's just what I'm calling it. Alright, so where we are is... Then God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear," and it was so. Okay, I just read that one. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. See, in the Bible, when it talks about good, it talks about like great, awesome, it's not like a little thing like it is nowadays. Like the word good doesn't really mean shit, It sucks, but I mean, that's the way it was. So I need to grab a pen so I can mark in here where I'm at. I'm not reading the same thing over and over again here. Okay, so let me see. I'm here. Okay, then God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass and herb that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed's in itself on the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, the herb that yields seed according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So it's talking about in its kind. It's talking about like if it's a fruit tree, it's going to stay a fruit tree. It's not going to, have a seed of another fruit inside of it. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to bite into an apple, take the apple seed, plant it, and get a cherry. You know what I mean? It's pretty much just, this type of seed will yield this type of seed. So in one of its processes somewhere, it will let out a seed of itself, just like weed does, fucking everything gives you seeds so that you can plant them. It's like Johnny Appleseed, you plant all those apple seeds and whatever. So right here, we're at 11, but alright, so I'm going to go back down here, and I'm going to go to what they say about this stuff, which I kind of missed because I was marked on the wrong spot here, so hopefully you guys will stick with me. Okay, we'll go back to divided the waters, okay? Let me see here. 7. I apologize. It says, "Thus God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters that were above the firmament, and it was so." Divide the waters. The notion of upper and lower waters is somewhat mysterious. The language may simply refer to waters gathered in a liquid state and to moisture in the atmosphere. The division of the waters is another of God's acts in bringing order out of disorder. Yeah, so if you think about it, I mean, it's like a bunch of water is... Because before Noah came, there was never rain. It said that the land and the airs and everything were precipitated on its own from these natural waters that God put out. So pretty much everything naturally would just process its due, and everything would just grow and be watered like a divine way. It would constantly be going over the earth. But then once God said, "All right, I'm gonna bring rain," and then he started gathering the clouds and doing that whole thing. It's like a whole nother magic trick. It's something we never saw before. And that's what's weird, is after rain came, we never saw what it was like before that ever again. That's crazy.
Wow.
So
God made rain just for a short...
No, the other. He made like the natural waters, pretty much the precipitation in the air, because we're 98% water or whatever.
Right.
The precipitation in the air made it so we lived longer, made it so we were healthier. We were able to do these things. We could fucking live so much longer. We could live thousands of years, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
So go to 1:9 here. It said, "Then God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so." It says, the gathering of the waters and the separation of the dry land are further actions of God in establishing control over the chaos described in verse 2. Each act of separation and distinction brings order out of disorder, form out of formlessness, cosmos out of chaos. Each act also demonstrates the Lord's power and wisdom. So, yeah, that's pretty much God, you know, like everything you think of, like every galaxy has a black hole that sustains the galaxy, you know what I mean? It's destroying, but it's sustaining, you know, that's the beauty of God. God will be merciless, but he will also be divine, and he will also be anger filled and jealous. God is not something to fuck with. Like, that's why I stress so much on the Old Testament, is because if you understood the way God was about, hey, follow me or don't, you're fucked. Like, God wasn't fucking around. The only reason why he's not here now is because he was so fucking pissed off that we wouldn't listen to him when he was here. You know, he's here with us and we still fucking whatever, you know? And so he had to fucking leave and get out and be like, no, dude, I can't handle you guys. You know, that's sad. It's really sad. We have to change and be a whole nother entity for us to even be around him again. Like, think about that. So right here, we're at 110. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Again, naming the creation marks God's lordship. The naming of the earth in this verse suggests that the term we used in anticipation in verse 2. So, and it says, each act of separation and distinction brings order out of disorder, form out of formlessness, cosmos out of chaos. Each act also demonstrates the Lord's power and wisdom. Yeah, because, like, as soon as God made Adam and Eve, you know, God gave Adam the chance to name everything, you know. I am a firm believer that there were people outside the gates of Eden. I think that God made people and wanted, you know, they were created evil, and he's like, all right, well, I want to see what happens if I create these people that don't know what good and evil is. And, you know, and, you know, Satan, everybody blames Satan and talks about how Satan, you know, tempted Eve, but, you know, God must have let him. You know, he must have wanted to see if, no matter how we were treated, if we were treated with the most utmost respect. Like, think about it. This whole world is like the world, you know, it's exactly the way it is now. But there's a special spot that's like a heaven on earth, you know. It's the most beautiful place in the world. You can be naked, be free, you know, like, it's beautiful. But there's one tree you can't touch, and that's our human nature. And God tested it with Satan, you know, like everything that we go through, all the tests that we have to uphold, all the things that we got to go through to make it through this life, like, it's all tests from God and Satan, you know. Like, a lot of people think, oh, you know, Satan's punishing me, or God's letting Satan hurt me, or whatever, you know. The whole point of that is so that the more you're hurt, the harder your life is, the more you rely on God, the closer you are to him. Because when you come up to
like that one
you
guy.
come up to stand next to him in heaven, and he's, you know, supposed to be your lawyer, and he's supposed to represent you and to God, you know.
Yeah.
God's like, all right, well, how do you explain this in your life? How do you explain this? He's sitting here with a book of your life. How do you explain this? And Jesus is going to back you up depending on how much he knows you. You sit and talk with him on the regular like you guys are best friends, he's going to have your back. He's going to be there with him, be like, you know, Lord, you walk with me.
Yeah.
But the less you know him, the less time you spend with him, he's gonna be like, well, I don't even know this man. You know? That's what's crazy about it. Like, I don't know, you really gotta keep up a relationship with God.
Dude, what was that guy that got all of his animals taken, all of his family taken in the Old Testament? And
Job.
Job. And he lost everything, man. He even got a disease. I mean, and then God restored everything, what? How many times?
I don't know.
Like a lot of times over. So he came out really ahead. You know, it's like God doesn't let you go through punishment and let you go through hell without there being something halfway decent on the other side if you just push yourself to go through.
Yeah, it talks about how your life here is most likely miserable. Then if your life here is miserable, then your life up there should be awesome. And I'm really hoping on that. Because that means that you gave more than you received. That means that you helped out more than you got, you know? And you build that up in heaven. As long as you don't have a selfish heart. Alright. So then it said, then God said, let the earth bring forth grass and herb that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed's in itself, on the earth. And it was so. What is this? I don't know. He just gave me a warning. Little bastard. Alright. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb that yields seed according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed in itself according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. The broad words grass, tree,